please, oh, you people don't know me, you people don't know where I've been working before. I'm a big shot. Nobody should disturb me. Hi guys. Actually, I wanted this video to be for house officers, like people who are just starting out as house officers. And then I realized that house job is like entry level employee kind of thing. And people who are also starting out in the corporate world would also benefit from the things I'm sharing in this video. So for the purpose of this video, I'm not going to be focusing on clinical practice per se. I'm going to be talking about work in a corporate world generally, so that people who are not clinically inclined can also benefit from the things I'll be sharing in this video, since the corporate world is basically the corporate world anyway. So the first things first, if you're starting out a job, you have to understand the work environment. You have to understand what it is they do, what it is they stand for, what it is obtainable in their firm or in their organization. Now, you may have worked in a similar firm before. Let me use a hospital for an example. So you may have worked in XYZ hospital and now you're working in ABC hospital. Yes, while it's the same hospital, their modus operandi may be different. So this is the time for you to understand what is obtainable and why they function differently from where you used to function. So in a new place, when you're in a new environment, this is time for you to observe. Like you use your eyes more than you use any of your other faculties, because it's going to save you a lot of stress. So that is when you get to understand that, okay, this is how this person is, this is how this person is, this is how people relate with this person. Oh, this person, people don't really talk to this person. Oh, people are warmer to this person. These are the things that you're supposed to like observe. How do these people carry out activities? Or when people come to work, they don't sit down immediately. They stand up and they hang around till some other person comes. Or people have to wait when this man walks and everybody stands up to greet him. So you just observe. There are things that people may not say to you, but by observation, you can save yourself a number of stress. The second thing you need to understand is what is expected of you. I want to believe that before you get into a job, you should know what your job description is or what your job descriptions are. You shouldn't be found wanting, especially as an entry level employee or someone who is just working in a new place. You should be able to tell, okay, this is my job, this is my role. Now that you know what is expected of you, you should always show up. You should always be at the place that you're supposed to be in. See, first impression is very important. And you know how people say that you may not get a second chance to create a better first impression. So yes, make a very good first impression. Let people know that you're hardworking. Let people know that you're enthusiastic about the job. I'm not saying do too much. I'm not saying go and overdo, but balance or virtualize in the middle, right? Show up and be where you're supposed to be as at when due. So using clinical practice as an example, I knew I said I wasn't going to base this on clinical practice. So let's say you're a house officer and then your consultant is performing a procedure. It makes no sense that you're somewhere pressing your phone, right? You're supposed to be there, even if you're not seeing what they're doing. Just be there. Let him or her feel like you're interested, that you want to learn, right? And who knows, you may just be there observing and they say, oh, do you know why I'm making this incision like this? Do you know why I'm using this kind of suture? Do you know why I'm doing this instead of this? And these things may not even be in the books, and you've learned it just like that. So, yes, make yourself available. And there's this thing that happens like when you're the handy person, when you're the person that is usually around or available, the person that you're working with or your superior, they find it easier to relate with you, and by extension too, going to learn more from them. Maybe skills, their skills are going to rub off on you. They want to teach you because you've shown interest. And I think this is applicable even in non-clinic work, where when you're always available, your boss will feel like, oh, this person is so handy, okay, let's go for this meeting, let's go for this meet and greet. And then you get to also establish yourself and network with people, right? It's not a bad way to start. Actually, it's a very, very good way to establish your presence in any firm or organization that you're working with. As an entry level employee, this is not the time for you to say, please, oh, you people don't know me, you people don't know where I've been working before. I'm a big shot. Nobody should disturb me. No, this is time to apply yourself and to create a very, very good impression. This other one is like very cliche. It's like very commonsensical, but I'm still going to say it, that when you're working in a new place, you shouldn't get caught up in gossips and a lot of side talks. So there may be somebody doing something that you outrightly know that this thing this person is doing is not appropriate, right? It shouldn't be heard from you. You shouldn't be the voice of the nation to come and say, oh, Mr. ABC is doing this. Oh, this is not. No, keep it to yourself. Like, even when you're in the midst of people and they are saying it, don't keep your contributions. Like, you totally agree with them, but it shouldn't be heard from you for so many reasons. Firstly, you are new in this organization. You don't even know who these people are that you're talking with. Tomorrow, you may be the one in trouble. And then it's not nice that you get into a place and then you're buying into people's trouble Do you get? So just be an observer. Whatever it is that is going on, just act like you're oblivious of it. Do you get? Don't just get caught up in the whole thing. And then avoid cliques. Like, I'm not saying be a loner. Of course, you should network. You should have a good and healthy relationship and rapport with your colleagues. There are cliques that whenever there is something wrong going on, they are in the center of those things. Stay away from those kind of people. It is not good for you or for your career progression. And with time, you now realize that even though you all work in the same firm, people do not come from the same place. People do not have the same career plan. So you can't jeopardize your career because you want to maintain a relationship with somebody because you don't even know the plans that person has for his or her life. So yes, avoid unnecessary cliques. The other thing that is very important is, and it's funny because some of these things they are not taught in school. Virtually all of them are not taught in school. They are things you learn at the job. Like nobody sits you down and says, okay, in the corporate world, this is what you're supposed to do, this is what you're not supposed to do. You literally learn them by yourself. So the next thing is that you should understand who calls the shots, right? If you're working in a place, you should know who it is that you're supposed to meet, and this person will get this job done. It could be anybody. I don't know who it is. It could be someone that is very close to the boss that has very good access to the boss. But you should know who it is that calls the shot. It saves you a lot of stress. If you need something to be done, if you're having a hiccup in anything that you're supposed to do, you know that once you reach out to this person is efficient, this person is going to get this thing done or deliver the message to the appropriate quarters. Find out who that person is. It will save you a lot of stress of, oh, tell this person. Because sometimes when you get into a new work environment, everybody's trying to make you feel like they are so important, right? Everybody's important, no doubt, but some people are more important than the others. So find out those people who are more important. The other people who are not as important, they have their roles, right? But understanding where each person's power stops and where the other person's power starts out from would help you a lot so that you don't go in circles. And you know that there are people that always make you feel like they are so important that once you go through them, whatever you want to be done. And then when you now go through them, the whole thing goes south. They're just going to leave you there or throw you under the bus and you'll be there all by yourself. So that's why you have to know who is who and who calls the shots. The next thing is this: never ever try to outshine your boss. It is not necessary. It is not even worth it. See, nobody will take your boss away from his position and place you there, right? Especially as a new employee, you would just be in their bad books. Never try to outshine your boss. Maybe somewhere else, maybe if you go to play soccer or whatever, but in the office, never try to outshine your boss. In fact, never try to outshine your boss whenever you're in the same space. And there are so many reasons that when people feel threatened by your presence, they can make life very difficult for you. They can make it difficult for you to excel. And your boss is someone who has achieved a certain height in his career. And in the process of achieving that height, he or she has also built relationships, right? So he's not just there because of his skill or expertise, he's also there partly because of the kind of relationship he has built. Now, you as an entry level employee cannot, in that short space, build that sort of relationship he has built and also gain that amount of expertise that he has, right? So even if you have the expertise, so let's say you're better skilled than your boss, how about his colleagues and people that he has a relationship with that have helped place him in that position? Can you also build that depth of relationship with those people? I hope you get the point I'm trying to make. So it doesn't really end well. Don't try to outshine your boss. So let me use clinical practice as an example. So you're working, you see a patient, you click a patient, and then you come up with a diagnosis, and you're certain that this diagnosis is appropriate, this is the correct diagnosis. And then you present this case to your senior registrar or your consultant, and the consultant says, no, this is not the case, this is the diagnosis, this is what is wrong with this person, right? They ask for an investigation and the result comes out, and then you are correct and your provisional diagnosis was the actual diagnosis, right? You can never go like, in fact, when the whole thing is happening, you're supposed to have a very solemn look. You're not supposed to have this feeling of you're not supposed to look like you're happy or that you're gloating. No, you're supposed to look sad. In fact, if possible, don't even be in that place. That's not when you should go and tell the patient, I told you that this was what was wrong with you. It's not my consultant that was making. Nah, don't do that. Don't ever do that. Keep it to yourself. Even the people that you work with, let it be between you people, right? In the corporate world as well, maybe you're trying to close a deal, whatever it is, and then your boss makes the mistake and does something wrong. Please do not rub it on his face. Don't do that. It doesn't usually end well, right? Plus, What's the need? What's the point? You have the rest of your life to practice. If you're good, you're good, right? And that's why you have your own individual life and individual path. Hopefully, you will not work with them forever. And if you're as good as you convince yourself that you are, there will be so many more opportunities for you to prove that, right? But no, never ever try to outshine your boss. Chances are too that when you walk into a place or when you start working in a new place, you may observe some things they do that you don't feel like it's appropriate because this is not what you're used to. This is not what is obtainable in the other places you've worked. As an entry level employee or as somebody in a new work environment, this is not the time for you to start dishing out corrections and say, no, why are you doing this like this? No, that's not it. While we know that you're good at what you do, you know your onion, keep it to yourself, except your opinion is sought. Right. If you're very convinced that this thing you're doing is the best way to do it, let your results speak for you. This is not the time for you to start saying, no, you cannot do this thing like this. So nah, just keep it to yourself. Except you're called upon. If you start dishing out corrections, like, you just give up this energy of arrogance. Like, who is this new person? Especially if the corrections you're giving are to people who have been working there for a very long time. I'm sure that if you work there long enough, there'll be a better or proper opportunity for you to share your own perspective, right? And it will be better considered than when you just walk into a place and you're giving instructions or giving corrections. The next thing is similar to the previous one. Be teachable. Just be willing to learn. Nobody knows it all. Even if you're convinced that what the person is saying is not appropriate, just listen to them. Give them that audience. Let them feel like they're adding value, right? It makes them feel good, and you don't lose anything by just listening to them. Once you're convinced that, oh, this is what you're doing is the appropriate thing to do, it's fine to carry on with it. But just come off as a very teachable person, like someone that can take corrections. It makes it easier for you to relate with your colleagues. Next thing is knowing when to talk, how to talk, and who to talk to. It's not every time that it is appropriate for you to talk. It is not everybody that you should talk to. And there is a manner, like, you're not supposed to talk all the time. Like, it's not all the time that you should take the floor. Like they say, does anybody have anything to say? You shouldn't always be the one to say, oh yes, I have something to say. Even if you do, it may not be bad for you to keep it to yourself sometimes. So know when to talk, know who to talk to. Like, there are people that you're not supposed to be having some conversations with, right? And there are people that these are the people you're supposed to have this conversation with. So it is in the period of your observation that you're going to find out, okay, this is who I'm supposed to talk to. So let's say you get into trouble. Based on your interactions with them or how you've seen them handle situations, you should know the people who are the best people to talk to or seek advice from or ask for assistance, right? And then you should know how it is you're supposed to say these things. But you know, the way there is political correctness, I think there should also be something called corporate correctness, where you are able to say what you want to say in an appropriate manner. Like, you know how they say diplomacy is your ability to make a point without making an enemy. So in this corporate correctness, you know how to pass across the information you're trying to pass across without coming off a certain way and in a way that you cannot necessarily be taken out of context. Do you understand? No matter how hard the person tries. So it's something you learn on the job, yeah. But there is something like that. So corporate world is not where you say, this is how I am. Oh, you know that I cannot keep this thing to myself. Where is that man? Where is Oga? Let Oga come. Let us. No, you keep getting into trouble, right? In fact, sometimes the best time not to say anything is when you think that that thing is choking you. Just swallow it, okay? Especially as an entry level employee, because you're just getting in, right? You don't want to create the wrong impression. You don't want to start out on the wrong foot. That's a round off. When you get into a new work environment, people don't know you, right? They really don't know so much about you per se, except for the things on your CV. Be true to yourself, be a genuine, be an authentic person within the confines of what your work permits, right? So let's say your work doesn't permit a certain kind of dressing. Because I said be true to yourself and be genuine, that doesn't mean you impose it on them and you show up at work looking a certain way that is not allowed in your organization. No, that's not what I mean. Within the confines of what is permitted in the place that you work, be very true to yourself and have your standards. Like, let people know as an entry level employee that this person will not do this thing. Do you get? So let's say you're working in a place where a lot of money passes through your office, and you know that, oh, some of these people they take part of this money, and it is something that you will not do because it is against your standards or your morals. At that time when you enter, that is when to say, okay, this is what you will do here. Okay, I'm not interested. Let it be known that this is something you will not indulge in, right? That is going to establish that stand. It's not that you will now start taking the money after like 2 months or 6 months. You now say, you know what, I don't want to take the money again. While it's nice to discontinue, but it makes you seem like someone that doesn't know what he or she is doing. Do you understand? So when you get into a corporate world, that is when to say, okay, these are my standards, these are things I will not do. So when people know that this is what you stand for, tomorrow when issues like that come up, they will not call you. When they are looking for how to siphon money from somewhere, they will not call you because they know that you will not want to be a part of it. Finally, I feel like we are all stars here on earth. You're supposed to shine astonishingly bright, not in people's faces though, but in your path. Your light should be so bright that people who come across you cannot help but see how marvelously well you're doing. Be excellent in what you do. In a world where people are interested in branding, in coming off a certain way, in packaging, be genuinely good in what you do. Right? There are people that know how to do the whole eye service thing. Oh, let them see that you're here. That works in corporate world. That really works. But beyond letting people see that you're here, let people also know that you can do the job when it comes, like when the time comes, that you're a reliable person and that you're going to deliver up to par what is expected of you. Focus on excellence, right? To the most of what is expected of you. Show up and deliver. And when it is a problem to you, do not hesitate to ask for help. This video is already long enough. But yeah, I hope you found this video helpful. If there are other things you've learned in your during your house job time or in the corporate world that you'd want to share with people, please leave them in the comment section below. Don't forget to like this video, subscribe to my channel, and share this video with people who you think or you know would find it very useful. Take care of yourself and see you in my next video. Bye.